Today's presentation topic is the National Parks of Washington. I chose this topic because Washington has some amazing national parks that everyone should visit. Let's start with a question. What do you think the 4 main national parks of Washington are?
I'm not sure what all the 4 national parks are, but I'm pretty sure Mount Rainier is one of them.
First, let's go over Mount Olympic National Park. Olympic National Park is located in the northwestern Washington area, which is west of the Seattle area on the Olympic Peninsula. First of all, let's briefly go over some key parts of this national park's history. Before Europeans, which are people in Europe, came over to this site, many Native American tribes roamed in this park. Finally, when John Mears was so impressed by Mount Olympus, he named it after the home of the Greek gods. Then, 4 years later, George Vancouver finally said that the Olympic mountain range was named and it existed. President Theodore Roosevelt created Mount Olympus National Monument in 1909. Finally, years later in 1938, President Franklin Roosevelt signed a bill designating 634,000 acres as Olympic National Park. Now let's go over some amazing places on this park that you should visit. They are Hurricane Ridge, Coe Rainforest, Lake Crescent, and Rialto Beach. I've been to all these places. The first one, Hurricane Ridge, is a great viewpoint and it has its own visitor center. From this point, I can see the glaciers of the Olympic mountain range. This place is named Hurricane Ridge for a sensible reason. That's because the high winds up there make it really windy. So when going, be sure to bring a windproof jacket. Also, if the weather is good, you can actually see Victoria Island, which is part of Canada. Next up is the Hoh Rainforest. This rainforest isn't tropical. Tropical means warm and moist climate. However, this rainforest is a temporary rainforest. This means it has big moss-covered trees, rivers and streams, and many different animals such as elk, deer, eagles, marmots, and fish. As you see, I went on the Spruce Nature Trail, which is the name of this trail. There is also a lake called Lake Crescent. This lake isn't deep, so you can swim and boat on the lake. When I went to Lake Crescent, I went boating and rode on the boat. Lastly, we have Rialto Beach. This beach is an amazing beach because there are rocks to stack, logs to sit on, and seagulls. And as you just seen, there are also sea life there that you can see in the tide pool. The next national park is Mount Rainier National Park, which is another exciting and fantastic park to visit. This park is located in the west central part of Washington. Like last time, let's go over its history. Do you know why this park is called Mount Rainier? That's because Captain George Vancouver, again, named it after his friend, Peter Rainier. In 1899, this national park was officially the 5th national park of the USA. On the other hand, this park went through the Great Flood. During the flood, it rained 18 inches of water in just 3 days. That's more than a foot. As a result, the damage cost $40 million. Now, Mount Rainier has some great trails. So I picked a few that were special to me to show you. The first two are Paradise or the Skyline Trail, and also the Sunrise. Paradise is one of the beautifulest places in the park. The flowers of Paradise bloom in spring but also summer, bringing many tourists and hikers. Paradise also has an inn when you can stay out, which is basically a resort. Not to mention, Henry M. Jackson Memorial Visitor Center is also in Paradise. When hiking Paradise, I remember I was able to run on the snow-covered trail. I just saw. I was also remember where there was a part where the snow completely covered the trail, and we had to slide down carefully because there was a stream below, or else we'd fall into the river. Next up is Sunrise. Sunrise is the highest point we have to reach by vehicle, which is a great place to see close-up glaciers. When you get there, you'll be fascinated and surprised. In addition, don't forget Ptolemy Peak. This is an 8-mile trail, which is quite long, that leads us to a fantastic view of Mount Rainier. When hiking this trail, as you see, we passed Eunice Lake in the picture. Also, don't forget about the old fire lookout at the top. Moreover, we have Natchez Peak Loop. This is an only 3.2-mile trail that is kid-friendly. When going in different seasons, the view is completely different. In my pictures, I went in summer and in autumn. We can see flowers blooming, making this a great place for flower lovers too. Next up is North Cascades National Park. North Cascades National Park is on the border of Canada and Washington State. This national park is very big because it is 1/4 the size of Long Island, which is an island near New York City. North Cascades is a great source national park for hiking in the mountains and forests because it has actually 400 miles of trails, which is a lot. Plus, there are also many glaciers, peaks, and lakes. Did you know this national park has 1/3 of the lower 48 states glaciers, which they are the 300 glaciers inside the park. Don't forget there's also 127 lakes in the park, and many you can hike there. Many of these lakes, however, are not on the east, they're on the west. That's because it's wetter. It's wet because the winds from the ocean got blocked by the mountains. And there are more than 1,600 types of different plants in the park too. Now let's explore some passes and lakes of this park. Before we set off to the lakes, let's explore 2 passes. The first pass is Maple Pass, a great place to view golden spruces, firs, and maples while hiking in the fall. This trail also features different flowers, bushes, and grass. When hiking Maple Pass, you go around Lake Anne, a deep blue colored lake that adds to the remarkable landscape. About 7.2 miles, this trail includes an actual pass called Heather Pass. Here, the word pass means a place with a great view that you pass by when hiking. After I arrived at Heather Pass, I got a great scenery of dark green mountains and a great big blue sky. Going on this trail is fun and challenging. We kept hiking up and down, but at the end, the hard work paid off. This one is the funny one. The second pass is Cascade Pass, which includes an adventurous story. 7 miles in total, Cascade Pass features exactly 34 zigzags in 6 miles. The 1 mile left includes a rocky area and a bend in the road that will stun you once you turn. I said that Cascade Pass includes a thrilling experience. Now I'm going to tell you the story. Now, when I was returning to the parking lot, I saw two bears, a mother and a cub. Luckily, the hikers in front of us had bear spray and sprayed it toward the bear. Afterward, the bear left the trail and went to the nearby forests. To conclude, this was my first time meeting a bear in the wild. To prevent bears, we can bring bear sprays or a bear bell when hiking. However, when scientists found out that bear bells aren't always able to scare off bears, when they did experiments, they actually found out sometimes they attract the bear instead. When hiking, you can also talk loudly or stomp your feet. Or when you see a bear, make yourself look big so that the bear will just be scared off. Now, finally, we're going to talk about many lakes of this fascinating park. Which the first one is Diablo Lake. This is a green lake and is created by a dam called Diablo Dam. When visiting this dam, be sure to take pictures because it's great. Built in 1930, Diablo Dam actually was the tallest dam in the world for 6 years. Next up is Ross Lake. Ross Lake is separated from Diablo Lake by a dam also called Ross Dam. However, the weird thing about it is that even though Diablo Lake is green, this lake is blue. And it's 22 miles long. Best of all, this is Picture Lake. I think it's the best because of its clear reflections of Mount Baker. I have been to this lake in 3 different seasons: spring, summer, and winter. In winter, the lake is literally frozen and I got to walk on it. While in spring, there are flowers all around the lake, and in summer, you can still see Mount Baker snow-covered. Now we have Heather Lake. Heather Lake is also a snowy lake, but the snowy-covered part is not in the picture because we took it in a different angle. But when hiking this lake, it's really fun to see snow this summer too and be able to play with it. I remember this 4.6-mile trail to have many rocks and tree roots on the way. In addition, we have Blue Lake. When I went to this lake, I was surprised to see snow in the summer, as you see in this picture better. Plus, it's not blue, it's green. Here's a better photo of the green lake. It's actually green. Last is Lake 22. This lake is another unique colored lake. Only 3.4 miles, this trail includes a boardwalk and many trees and plants. The boardwalk is extremely helpful because many younger hikers can come and it's also easier to walk on. Now, I've been to many lakes in this park, but in some I don't even know the name of, which is quite weird. Even though North Cascades National Park is not as famous as Mount Rainier or Olympic National Park, I think this national park is better because it includes both things. 2 things that are like Mount Rainier and Olympic National Park and combine them in this park. This is also another place. Chain Lakes is a series of lakes and an easy trail to walk on, so it's also a great hike. The last national park we're going to cover is Mount St. Helens National Park. Mount St. Helens is a big volcano that erupted on May 18, 1980. After the eruption, there were no plants and no animals, just plain land. However, in the last 10 years, people started planting trees and plants again, bringing animals back and the ecosystem too. This eruption killed more than 33 people and pumped more than 540 million tons of ash from Mount St. Helens. This fell over land more than 22,000 square miles, which is a big number too. And it also became the deadliest eruption in the USA. Here's my experience at this national park. When I went there, I went camping with my friends. The campsite's name was also really interesting. It was called Kids Valley Campsite. When camping, we visited many hiking areas, including Harris Ridge, which is really one of the best. You get a great view of the valley below, and you come to this lake, Spirit Lake. Be sure to bring a windproof jacket because of its high elevation, it's windy. Also, this trail is very long. To be exact, it's 7.8 miles and dry. So we had to pack a lot of water. Also, don't forget about the big lake, Coldwater Lake, that you can actually directly drive to. Did you know that this lake actually wasn't there before the eruption? Before 1980, this lake didn't exist. Now it's called Coldwater Lake because Coldwater Creek got cut by the volcano's ashes and debris, so it had nowhere to go and just became a lake. At this lake, you can go boating, fish, and swim. We brought our own boats, as you see. Now, this concludes my presentation.
Now, Annie will read the vocabulary words. So, the first word is tephra. Rock fragments and particles ejected by a volcanic eruption. A large storm that only happens on the Atlantic Ocean. Marmot. A burrowing rodent of both Eurasia and North America, typically living in the mountainous lands. Heaviest member of the squirrel family. Subalpine meadow, near the upper limit of trees, 8,000 to 9,500 feet. Peninsula, a piece of land almost surrounded by water or projecting into a body of water. Left, Olympic Peninsula. Lichen, a simple, slow-growing plant that typically forms a low, crusty, leaf-like or branching growth on rocks, walls, and trees. Dam, a barrier constructed to hold back water and raise its level and used to generate electricity or as a water supply. Left, Diablo Dam. Glacier, a slow-moving mass or river of ice and snow on mountains or near the poles. Windproof, resisting wind as fabric or a jacket or coat. Now we will have Sunny ask the 2 questions. What do you think? 2 questions. What do you think? Number 1, which national park is your favorite? Why? 2, if you could name your own national park, what would you name it? Where would it be?
Probably almost the only national park I really understand, but it's like I think it would be Yellowstone National Park. Yeah.
Already half of the national parks in the U.S. I travel a lot, but I kind of don't enjoy traveling at the same time too.
My favorite is a whole also national park, except I've never been there.
Now it's game time. Log onto Kahoot to participate in a quiz type of game.